get many people singing the praises of Sepa these days, but in your new book, EU Payments Integration, you call Sepa the new hope. So why is it the new hope?
The new hope is meant in two ways. It's meant in a historical way because Sepa, of course, was the hope of getting the integration forward and the competition going between European banks and non-bank payment services providers. So it is seen, first of all, in a historical context and, of course, because I'm a very big Star Wars fan. The second point is that people should maybe more understand it as a hope in the right way, and they should see the benefits of being able to offer customers services across the market as opposed to just at national level. So obviously it's very, very important for banks that are banking businesses, whether they're small businesses that trade across Europe or larger corporates that are potentially even multinationals. These will actually benefit from the integration in the long run.
There have been complaints from banks that many central banks in Europe have been less than active in promoting Sepa. Germany is often mentioned. Can you go into more detail about the political background affecting Sepa?
Well, at the moment we are at a very scary crossroad. I mean, we worked since 2001, 2002 on drafting the vision, on implementing, on starting to draft the technical standards between banks, and even launching and implementing the rule books to actually offer services. But as you know, we've seen a very slow pickup on the credit transfer side and even much lower on the direct debit. So we haven't really come very far with Sepa in practice. And one of the reasons is that the project is not managed similarly to something that was also to do with the euro, which was the euro introduction. There was much more focus and political buy-in up front, and the execution was then left to the euro system and the central banks and the governments to implement. So it was a very clear goal, a very clear message, and a clear end date to actually implement the euro introduction. With Sepa, we decided on a vision. Politicians asked for integration. We came up with some of the solutions, arguably not all of them, but we stuck in the middle where we have parts implemented, lots of old systems and schemes keep running in parallel, and of course in these days some of the politicians are thinking if we make a lot of investments in some new standardization and products, but the end result to the consumer on the street, that is my voting counterpart, is not entirely a magical formula and doesn't really change his life that much initially, then they're probably thinking, well, let's wait and see whether the market picks up naturally. And that is, of course, what we see particularly in countries like Germany. There's a reluctance in a number of stakeholder groups in the country. And of course, we have to work towards a compromise so that the Sepa end date regulation that we're all talking about throughout this week at Cybos is actually going to be something that will address the gap and will address the right objective, including involving countries such as Germany to achieve migration in the medium term.
Of course, this is Cybos, and you're here. You got your book to promote. What do you want the readers to come away with most from your book, and what is the future for European payments?
Yeah, I think I want the readers to understand the origins of the project, how the whole European system works between legislators, banks and other stakeholders. I want them to understand that there are a lot of theoretical benefits that can actually only be given to customers if you implement and think about solutions in the value-added space, having done a common joint implementation of the core schemes. And it's also about standards promotion, which is very important, of course, in Cybos Week. The ISO 20022 XML was chosen as the solution for Sepa and is a solution for a number of projects across the globe, whether they're in the trade space, in the security space, or even, as we see, in the cash space here. And I think what we would like to see at a global scale, looking at globalization, which is one of the very important themes also this week, is that there will be more standards alignment across the globe so that banks and other providers can compete better in a more aligned way for customers, and that customers have solutions that work in a global environment, not only a national or regional environment.